Good morning. Welcome to my another video in the strategy series. Today we will discuss about international business strategies and what are the aspects which motivates company to get into this international business strategy. The important selection criteria of a country as well as the strategy to be used for an international market. See, when we talk about international business strategy, what motivates company to go beyond the national borders? Why the company needs to go out of their country into a new market, the market which are unknown to them and having new culture, policies, laws, regulations, the whole host of a thing which are the unknown to them. But still many companies want to go beyond the borders and do business in new markets. So what motivates them to go for such international business? The number one aspect is the political risk of the company in doing in one country. See the political risk, how actually it affects the company. So when we talk about the political risk, it's not about the instability of the government or the governance in that particular country. It is primarily the policy aspects of the country with another country or other countries. So over a period of time, what the company will do when they are looking to go beyond their borders and select a specific country, and if that particular country has no uh, conducive relationship with the home country of the company, so then the company cannot do anything. So they cannot do business. So in order to avoid such future uncertainty, the company normally trying to move into different countries and establish their business. Number two is a market access. So moving from one country to another country, it gives the huge market access for that particular company to the neighboring countries, especially if they choose the country which has a very good relationship with other countries or the star country in that particular regional economic integration. And the cost and conditions, which are very important. So the other big motivation factor for the companies to go to new markets, the cost involved in producing products, operations, and the other support given by the government of that particular new country in terms of land, electricity, the availability of the cheap skilled labor, and the whole host of other things, the laws, regulations, and tax benefits. Then third one, the fourth one is the country infrastructure, which is also very important because when you choose to do a business with the new country, you should not only focus on the consumers, but you should also focus on the other infrastructure facilities of the particular country in terms of the health benefits, in terms of educational aspects, in terms of the roads, other infrastructure, the power, energy, the technological infrastructure, which are very important because the company is not only focusing on consumers but is also focused on the employees. So you need to attract the talented employees. So you need to have that kind of an infrastructure which should attract the top talent to come and stay in that particular country and like help the company to grow. So in today's globalized scenario, the company need not only focus on the local talent, but they should also scout for a global talent. And the final motivation is the foreign exchange because the foreign exchange is very, very important for the survival of any country, the economy. When the country wants to import anything, so they need to pay in foreign currency. So having the foreign currency, the foreign exchange is the great plus for any company, also for the country. So that is why every country encourages the companies to do international business, thus getting more foreign exchange. Now comes the question, how the company select a potential international market? What are the criteria for that? There are 7 criteria the company can focus in terms of developing their international business strategy, selecting a potential international market. The number one is the market potential. So the company needs to select a country which has a market potential. That means the country should have a set of consumers, their affordability, and the long-term stability and long-term growth for the company's products or services in a particular market. So this is what like the company needs to look for. The number two is a political stability and relationship, which is very important because political stability of the particular country and the country's relationship with the other countries, which help the company to move into the other countries by setting a base there. Number three is a market access, which is very important to do neighboring countries. So if you go to a country where there are many countries are nearby, it is very easy for the company to move to other countries. We call it as a flowering strategy. Move into one country and start expanding to the neighboring countries. The number four is the shipping cost and time, which is very important. So when you are doing business in a country where there are many countries are nearby, it is very easy for a company to move the products from the base country to other countries, and it can save the cost of shipping as well as the time. Then competition, which is very important. So you need to understand, the company needs to understand the competition prevails in that local market, and how the competition is going to affect its future growth, the benefits. So based on it, it has to decide. Then service requirements, what are the other the benefits the company can get in terms of the support from the government, the energy, the health benefits, then availability of the talent, the whole other aspects. Finally, the product service fit. The company needs to choose a country where the existing products or services of the company should fit with that particular country's requirements. So among these 7 the aspects, which one the company needs to focus first? We should agree all these 7 aspects are very important for a selection criteria, but the company needs to rank to focus on the selection aspects. So among these 7, the company needs to first identify the country which is suitable for its existing product and service. So product service fit is the number 1 aspect. If the product and service does not fit with the country's requirements or culture or consumer or taste and preferences, so the company cannot go and do business there. So that is the number 1 criteria. So the number 2 criteria is a market potential. Once you identify the product service fit, then you have to identify the market potential for the particular product or service in that particular country. As we discussed about the consumer acceptance, the potential for the future growth and long-term stability, longevity, those kind of aspects. And number 3 aspects is pretty tricky. There are 2 aspects which the company can choose. One is a political stability and relationship, or the market access. So it depends on the country which they want to do business. In some country, they may not have a political stability, but the country has a great potential, market potential, product service fit. So they can forego their political stability and they can have a very good relationship with the current government, and they can start the business. Then comes the market access. Or if the country has a very good political stability and relationship, it's well and good. The company can look at the political stability and relationship as a 3rd aspect. And the 4th aspect will be the market access to the neighboring countries. Then comes the potential competition. So definitely the competition prevails in every market. So you cannot go to market where there is no competition. So then it is an impediment for the company. So if you are going to a market where people do not know about your product or service, it's a kind of a new category. So the company needs to spend a lot of time, energy, and educate the consumers about the product. Then once you create that particular market, then you attract a lot of competitors, international, local competitors to get in the market, and you may lose the kind of a pioneering advantage. So the company should not see the competition as a threat, and they should see the competition as an advantage, and they see how they can do better, and they can show the distinction among the competitors. In that way, they can attract the consumers. So these are all the several aspects which the company needs to rank when they are selecting the international markets. So based on the selection, the company needs to work out a strategy to do business with that particular country. We all know there are four strategies available. One is a global standardization strategy, the international strategy, and transnational, and the last one is a localization. So if you take a scale like 100%, 100%, so the global standardization strategy is 100% of selling the global products which they are having in the home country to all the other countries. And the last one, the end of the other side, is 100% is a localization. So that means you totally change the product according to the local markets. But what is the best strategy the company can use? So this international business strategy of using the global standardization and localization differs from the product to products and services and industry. So we cannot generalize the company can use the same, like one set of international business strategy. But if you take example of the automobiles, the company can focus on the international strategy, which is 75% global and 25% local. So the automobiles need to be modified according to the local conditions of elevating the chassis or calibrating the engine suit to the local climate, and the control instruments suit to the local the distance measurement like kilometers and miles, and other the aspects which are 25 to 30%. So the company can focus on international business strategy, uh, like internationalization strategy, when they're focusing on automobiles. But when they're going for food products, especially like the companies like McDonald's or KFC, so here the company can focus on a transnational strategy. It's a 50% global and 50% local. So the company normally, they modifies the menu according to the local taste, but still they're not losing the identity of their global entity. So in that way, the company can achieve the balance of the maintaining their global identity, and still they can focus on their the the local the tastes, and that thus they can attract the consumer to buy the product. So in this chart, if you see in this video, we discussed about the selection criteria for international business, the strategy as well as international markets, and what are the appropriate international business strategy the company can use for different markets vis-a-vis the different products and services. Again, there is no a foolproof method or recipe for selecting the international business strategy. It differs from industry to industry, country to country, and the products and services. But however, knowing these aspects will greatly help the company, and it gives them a kind of a self-awareness to make their international business journey. So once again, thank you very much for watching this video of the series of strategies. And please subscribe our channel and keep watching for more videos for the days to come.